A very warm welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show, Expresso on SABC3 on this public holiday. It's voting day. Happy voting day, South Africa. Now, as many of us will be going to the polling station, I'm sure there'll be a lot of conversation going around those kind of groupings, if you will, where people will be reflecting back on politics, because it is a bit of a difficult field to navigate, as I'm sure Mr. Tony Leon will know from experience. But a lot of us will be talking about what's been happening on the political sphere. And if you check around the internet, one of the biggest headlines right now in the world of politics, I guess, is the fact that Monica Lewinsky is breaking her silence on her affair with former President Bill Clinton. This is quite the story right now.
You know, I looked at the story this morning and I thought there must be some good that can come from Monica Lewinsky and the story. And there is. Lewinsky has penned an essay to Vanity Fair because, well, it will be available tomorrow, but we have it already. She came forward because there is an 18-year-old that committed suicide because of online bullying. Now, we all know that online bullying and global humiliation is a reality, and it's extremely sad, and we have to speak out about it so that it doesn't happen. Monica Lewinsky, however, came up with a story saying, it's time to burn the beret and also the famous blue dress. She says, I myself deeply regret what happened between me and President Clinton, and she's coming out to say what exactly happened, and she's trying to bury the story. Mr. Leon, have you met Bill Clinton?
I met him a few times. In fact, I met him the first time he came to South Africa in 1997, just as the Lewinsky scandal had broken in America, and the cynics among some of my colleagues said that's why he came to Africa for such a long time. I think he came on a 12-day tour, a very long time for a president, because he wanted to escape the heat of Washington.
Wow.
But, yeah, I must say about Clinton, and I don't know his charms for Miss Lewinsky, he is one of the most extraordinarily charming people I've ever met. And he's got an extraordinary way of listening, like you're the only person in the whole room. And interesting about Clinton's visit to Parliament, he had the stuff with Mandela, the speech and the state dinner. He is, to my knowledge, the only president, head of state, who came here and said, I would like a private meeting with all the leaders of the opposition parties.
Oh, wow.
And he gathered us around a tea table in the parliamentary dining room. And I'll tell you another funny story about that. There were only 5 or 6 of us. Some are still going, but Leslie's still going. He's on the ballot today. He's the only one still standing in politics. And he gathered us in the parliamentary tea room, and just him and the official photographer and his wife, Hillary Clinton, and Jesse Jackson, who was visiting with him. And there was one photographer. And there were a whole lot of waitresses from the parliamentary dining room who did not look like Monica Lewinsky, because, you know, they were much older, and they were looking at this world's most famous man, and with great fascination. And Clinton just naturally reached behind us to shake hands with them as well. And there was nothing in it for him. You know, it was just a natural gesture. Wow. And then he, you know, sat down. We had a very engaged conversation. Then, of course, many years later, a friend of mine in Buenos Aires, one of the big businessmen of Argentina, paid a lot of money for Bill Clinton to come and speak at a dinner, which I was invited to. Well, the figure is $250,000, I was told, for an evening with Bill. You get dinner, and you can have your photograph taken them as well.
For an evening with Bill.
For an evening with Bill.
What do you charge, Tony?
Oh, an embarrassingly little amount, and in dollars it's nothing. But I mean, you know. But look, so it's a market-driven thing, because Clinton is a global figure. What I thought was very interesting about, because he was impeached by the House of Representatives as a result of the lying over the Lewinsky scandal. I mean, I think everyone lies about sex and money, apparently, but if you do it under oath, that's another matter. And we were just saying that now, that you think that he was impeached for perjury of his testimony, which was doubtful on the margins. And we have so many real scandals of the theft of public money for which people walk away free. And the point about Clinton, why he was forgiven, apart from his natural charm and ability, was he delivered, you know, spectacular levels of economic growth and pretty close to full employment in the United States. Yeah. And people remember that now as an almost golden age. And that's why Clinton remains, despite Lewinsky, despite the scandal, very, very popular.
Sure.
Well, let's hope we avoid all forms of scandal at the polling stations today.
And global
they are
humiliation,
open.
yes.
Go around, get involved. Let's vote South Africa. Let's get out there and make our voices heard. Ewan is standing by at the Table View Methodist Church, which is his polling station. Let's find out what he's doing.
So I've made my way out to my voting station. The Tableview Methodist Church is bright and early, but already there's so many people queuing. But luckily, my queuing experience has been made pleasurable by these lovely ladies over here. Ladies, how are you doing this morning?
Very well, thank you.
So are you guys regular early birds that you come out at the crack of dawn to cast your vote?
Yes, I am. I leave for work at 5:45 every morning, so I'm an early bird.
And I want to ask you, what does it mean for you to, out of millions of people in South Africa, what does it mean to you to come and make your mark and vote?
Means everything. Every little X makes a difference.
Indeed, indeed. And if you could give advice to those people still making their way to the voting stations, what advice could you give them?
Get on those comfortable shoes, get dressed warmly, and get into the queue.
Bring your cup
Come
of
and make
coffee.
your mark. Yes.
Bring a
Yes.
cup of
Bring a cup
coffee,
of
that's the
coffee,
one.
yes.
Now I want to ask you something quickly. I couldn't help but over here, you very disappointed that George Clooney is getting married.
Oh, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Please take me through the emotions.
Oh, goodness, he's, as I say, got away from my clutches. I'm on antidepressants.
Oh, George Clooney, the one that got away.
Totally.
Lovely. So as you can see, standing in queue can really make a lot of friends, and it could be a nice and pleasurable experience. Back to you in studio.